Okay guys, this next step here is to take our straight square through mortises that we just made and on the hollow chisel mortiser, and we're now actually going to put a taper in them so that we can get this effect of the through wedged thing going on here for that mechanical lock. First thing you'll want to do is with the tenon, now this applies actually to the tenons on your legs, on all four of your legs, as well as the stretcher that goes between the rails. You want to take a 1/8 drill bit and drill a hole 1/4 of an inch in from the outside edge, and then just take the bandsaw and run 2 slots up there as straight as you can. You can even use a fence on the bandsaw to help you out with that. Okay, the hole there is to prevent sort of a stress crack sort of thing from forming. So this distance here is a 1/4 inch, and then we have a hole at the other end here matching that 1/4 inch, and then we're just creating these 2 little wings that are going to separate and fill this wedge piece when our wedges go in. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing is that we are going to actually relay out our mortise line on the outside edge of our rail, and we're going to create a new line there and then take a chisel and get rid of all that. We're going to taper that out from 1/8 of an inch, which is our offset, so an 1/8 inch offset, all the way down to the inside of our mortise, which is going to be 0. You can actually even stop just a hair before, so you don't risk blowing out the backside with your chisel. Okay, so I've just kind of drawn this little diagram here to hopefully help illustrate what's going on. This is a cross section of our rail, right? The shaded area here is what we're keeping. This little squiggle here is what we're taking out. Okay, so we're going to measure that 1/8 inch and take that out with the chisel. Our mortise is going to fit tight. Our mortise and tenon joint is going to fit tight at the base, and then of course there's going to be an 1/8 inch gap on either side of the tenon at the outside, which is going to leave room to accept our wedges. Okay, that's it. Let's go cut these things. Okay, here we go. So this is Jeremy's. He's actually already done half of this one. As you can see, he's already laid out that 1/8 inch offset here. And so I'll just kind of go through the motions and show you guys how that works. So you're just going to take a square, and while you can measure your 1/8 inch. Of course, he's already got his line here, so you can put a little tick at an 1/8 inch offset from your square mortise. And then you can take your chisel, or your ruler here rather, sorry, your square, get my tools right, and we can just run that marking knife or that utility knife that I have in the tool board. And just over the part where your mortise is there, we're just going to run a crisp little line that breaks the grain and establishes an actual spot where we can put our chisel to make a really nice straight crisp line. Okay, so I'm only taking my knife and I'm cutting the grain on this part here, because we don't want a big score on either side, which is going to be a visual space, right? We can even take an eraser, get rid of these other lines, right, just to show you that there's no knife mark there at all. Okay, so once we've got that new layout happening, we can go and put it in the vise. You guys can do this a couple different ways. You can clamp it to your workbench and go downward if you like, but you're driving the chisel into the bench, which is kind of how you want to be. Or you can put it in the vise this way and you're still driving that force into the bench. I prefer this way. Okay, sharpen yourself up a real nice chisel, and you can use a mallet too, because we're paring across end grain, so it does take a little bit of effort. Small bits at a time. So at this point here, we're just doing very, very light shaving cuts with the chisel until we slowly work down into our layout line. You can also take your chisel and go down right nice and square on the others along the long grain, and just give yourself a nice boundary line there that meets your new layout mark. Okay, and come down again and keep on going. And keep on going all the way across. And keep on feathering that taper out further and further back into the mortise. Okay, and I'll keep doing that until the point where my chisel drops right into that new layout line that I gave all the way across until I have a nice square line. This is a visual edge, so take your time, get right in there with your eyes and be precise, okay? And you're gonna feather that all the way out. So I won't do the whole thing, I'll leave a little bit for Jeremy to do. But one thing here I just wanted to show, as you're going along, you need to check this with a straight edge. Because here's the thing, and you can use anything for a straight edge. I even just use my chisel. I'll come in here with my chisel and just use a straight edge. I'm showing you on the one here that Jeremy already did, and it actually looks really good. What I'm checking for is to make sure that my straight edge hits along the point on either end. Okay, so the end along the outside face and the end along the inside face as well. It's a little chunky in here, you guys can see that, and that doesn't matter at all. That's all going to be filled with glue. In fact, there's even a little bit of a hollow here. So Jeremy's actually gone a little too deep, and he's kind of chunked this out and made a little bit of a hollow, but that's actually a good thing. Okay, you're never going to see that. It's going to be filled with glue, and your tenon, as it comes through here, is going to come up nice and tight to this outside line. What you don't want is a hump in the middle here and have your straight edge rocking a little bit, because when you drive your wedge in, it's going to get tight at the hump in the middle here somewhere, and it's not going to drive up tight against the edge that you just made. Okay, so if anything, have it a little chunky on the inside, have a little bit of a hollow, have your straight edge touch on either of the two end points of the mortise. Okay, that's it.